Well, thank you so very much, everyone, for staying with us. Our special coverage of the life and times of late former President Muhammadu Buhari, who walked this earth between 1942 and 2025, continues here on Global Television. And this morning, we want to bring a couple of angles into this narrative. Of course, it got interred yesterday in Daura, Katsina State. That's his hometown. But the conversations around the impact he made, how he shaped governance and government, including politics, of course, and how he would be remembered. Of course, that includes the legacy he now leaves behind, will form the crux of our conversations going forward, at least for the next couple of days here on Global Television. This morning, I'm joined by someone, well, we can call him, he's been there, done that, sustained leadership from the very grassroots, bottom up. Of course, he is not ignorant of the Buhari days as military head of state in the early 80s. And he followed through till even the very last points in the life of the former ruler. Of course, again, like we mentioned, people will bring diverse opinions and all shades of assessments into this conversation at this point, which is only natural. But we want to look at it from a holistic, dispassionate and fact-driven standpoint. I'm joined by Honorable Rotarian Agarese Idubo. He's a politician and a public affairs commentator. We're delighted to have you on the program this morning.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
We're delighted. So let's first of all, well, the late former president got buried yesterday. As a Nigerian who also had seen him firsthand as military head of state and then later as a democratically elected president, what are some of the, if you like, highlights or high points of his life and leadership?
Yeah, first I'd like to express very sincere condolences to his family. He has left, to my mind, a lot of things that people remember him for. And one of the things I want to talk about is his anti-corruption stance. He fought corruption to a point that it was now christened as the anti-corruption, entrepreneur. So to my mind, he did that sufficiently well, and today we hold that as a credit to him. Discipline was also his hallmark. He believed that we must fight indiscipline. And he did that as military head of state sufficiently well to a point that people now understood why they must, fall in line occasionally and do what is right. And that he did until he left as a military head of state. Corruption for him was a no-no. Was a no-no. But one will, like you said, there are too many sides to it. He was not corrupt, so to speak, but many of those who worked with him and for him were corrupt. And so that was our chance. People say, okay, fine. Okay, you are not corrupt, but you condone corruption. But I once said that cumulatively, one will say the man was a good man. Was a good man. One thing again, I want to hold as a great legacy he has left is his punctuality. In any public function, if you invite him to a public function, a few times I was privileged to notice a few of those things. He was prompt.
Even as a president?
Yes, he was prompt. He will come in there, and people now understood that. So those who were inviting him understood that the man they will ask you, when should I come? You tell him come by 10, he's there by 10 o'clock. Unlike some people, tell them for 10, you'll be waiting for 2 hours, 3 hours, they won't come. But he was a precise person. So that to me was a very wonderful hallmark of leadership. He did well in that direction. Yeah, economically, yes, he tried his best. Nigeria was not doing well before he became president, and he tried to fight a lot of battles to stabilize the economy by various interventions, which, to my mind, yielded fruits. Although again, some will criticize that those things were not holistic in nature. He came and he brought the rice pyramid. I mean, the rice pyramid. And those days, rice used to be something like but he came and he said, "Come on, let's produce what we eat. And that to me was also very instructive. Produce what you eat. Don't keep importing everything. You want to import rice, you want to import beans, you want to import toothpick. So he said, produce what you eat. And they came with this holistic thing. I said, let's produce rice. And rice was mass produced. That to me was an achievement. You know, it took a chunk of hunger out of our people. Because people were like very hungry, you know, and the man came and said, oh, there must be stomach infrastructure. And he did that. he did that, and he ensured that people were not as hungry as they were. So what we'll say of a truth, he came, he did his best. Some will say the best was not good enough. Yesterday I was listening to a friend of mine who was saying, oh, he was a slow engine. Yes. By the time he came as president, the economy was not strong enough to accommodate all those specs of office. And he said to his people, I will not appoint ministers now. I will take some time to stabilize the economy.
That was in 2015.
Yes. He said, people say, oh, you are too slow, appoint ministers. He said, no. The economy cannot accommodate all these persons. And he did that until he got to a level where he now said, okay, fine, now we can appoint ministers. Now we have some resources. Because, I mean, plus or minus, you look at, it's a heavy burden. When you have a bloated, you know, situation, you have ministries, you know, to my mind, at times they are said to be too many. And economically, to service these ministries was a humongous tax for him. So he just said, but eventually he stabilized. And they appointed his ministers, but they say, oh, he was too slow. Why did he waste all the time?
Right.
Some say it was Baba go slow. But having said that, he did his best at that time. But whether his best was perfectly good is another matter. But for him, he tried to have a zero tolerance for corruption. That you must give to him. So I give that to him.
I mean, some part of your narrative sounds like, I mean, it's reminiscent of what former President Goodluck Jonathan also said about late former President Muhammadu Buhari. He said the man led to the best of his ability.
Yes.
That is relative, so it depends on who is doing the assessment or evaluation. But I want to take you back to the 80s when he was head of state. There are people who still credit his number two man, if you like, twice then, Tunde Diagbo, as being the one who was the engine room of the government. Isn't that a situation where too much credit is unnecessarily given to Diagbo as against Buhari, who was the, if you like, forerunner of the government?
No, Buhari at that time, you know, was liberal. Was liberal. Oh, Diagbo, you're my whatever. Go ahead and do what is right.
So he trusted him with some authority?
Yes, you know, they will discuss it and say, go ahead and do it. Some persons like to stay behind the scene. You come on, you go and do this thing. And Diagbo was, you know, was spitting fire at that time. But again, if the president was not in line, with, you know, they don't believe in it, he will stop him. But he was saying to come on. You know, it's like you pat your son, you know, the back, say, come on, go on, boy.
You cheer him on.
You are doing well. Go ahead. And yes, it could be the man who was masked. But now you go ahead. The man stays back. Achieve all of this for our government.
Right.
The achievements were for the government. It was the Buhari's administration. But Diagbo was like the anchor man. He was the one who was the striker. He was doing all of that, and he did quite well. Diagbo also will be remembered. You know, will be remembered for all of that because he brought discipline to the system. Those days, you see a man who is going somewhere, instead of shunting, he maintains. He stays clearly on the line. You know, those days, you just anybody just bringing out his spear and pin anywhere. No, all those things stopped. Again, Diagbo did all of that with the backing of Mr. President.
Right.
If the president if he didn't believe in all those things, he would say, "Come on." Or if he even felt threatened by Diagbo's soaring stature,
right,
he would have said, "Come on, my friend, You know, some persons feel threatened when they see their subordinates
That's right.
doing well. But he didn't feel threatened back because people were praising Idiagmo, oh, Idiagmo. The man didn't feel threatened because he understood that, okay, fine, he's doing our bidding. Doing our bidding. So
He's in line.
Yeah, he was doing what we have agreed to do. It was fine.
Let's talk about his life as a soldier, becoming military head of state, and then of course he got also removed from office on account of a coup that brought in General Babangida, retired now. Then of course that again saw the emergence of General Sani Abacha again, who is also has gone to the great beyond, as we call it. Would you say these two gentlemen, these two military men, actually destroyed whatever it was that Buhari had accomplished for the country at that point?
They didn't understand the direction Buhari was going. They didn't. They also thought that their style of leadership was harsh.
Right.
So they now thought they could come in. Ironically, I was privileged to, I won't say walked, but Babangida and General Abacha, when I was the president of the Youth of Nigeria, as national president, I worked with Babangida. As national president, I worked with Abacha. So two difficult times for me as president of the Youth of Nigeria. That time, I had to reposition the National Youth Council of Nigeria to a point that I could sit down with Babangida eyeball to eyeball to see what we want for the Youth of Nigeria. I could sit down with Abacha eyeball to eyeball and see what we want for the Youth of Nigeria. Maybe I could say this to you. When Babangida was going to do the two parties, SDP and ROC, he called us and we sat with him. And we said to him, when it was the writing constitution, I mean, they wrote the constitution for the parties.
Right.
I mean, and one thing we begged him not to do was he should not put the youth wing in the constitution like they have in various constitutions now, the youth
right.
wing, women. I said, we don't want youth wing. No youth wing. The youths of Nigeria will play on the same turf with the adults. We don't want to be consigned to one part and say, okay, these are youths, let them go and be doing their own. No. We begged him that allow us to play on the same turf. Let us stay, let us come and play on the same turf with the adults. And he obliged us. So if the constitutions of the two parties, SDP and ROC, there was no youth wing. No youth wing. It's not the question of one leader saying, oh, you are youths, go and stay on one side, and they confine you to one side, and when they are doing meetings, and you come and say, okay, youth, no, we don't want youth here. So we did that, and he listened to us. So he was a listening president. He listened to us, but I don't want to believe that he destroyed the gains, the Buhari gains. I don't think so. But again, I've always believed that the best military government, the best, cannot be compared to a civilian administration. Cannot, because a military government just comes, it dictates to you what he wants, and then nobody challenges him. I mean, so no matter how nice a military government is, it cannot replace a democratically elected government. They could be also nice, but there are times some politicians create situations where people clamor for a military government to come. I remember one day I was driving, along a road in Benin, and some set of persons just went on one way. They drove against traffic. So my friend was seated by me. He said, "Oh, RSA, I wish this was a military government. So we just go and flog all these men." Again, when the civilian administration at times, allows for indiscipline, because they turn their eyes to the other side because of party affiliation, party leaning. Oh, we cannot do
political considerations.
So that we no, I mean, what is right is right. What is wrong is wrong.
Right.
And once people understand what is right, you compel them to do what is right. But most people, most times, they know what is right. And they will turn the other, and for me, it's not right. Babangida came, he did his best. Some called him Maradona, some called him all kinds of names, but again, he did his best at that time. Abacha came, also wanted to be president, but again, he did his best. Every leader, no matter how well you have performed, by the time you're no more there will be criticism here and there. Oh, he didn't do well, he didn't do this. When he was there, nobody would talk.
Right.
They would. And one of the real issues that is the followership. See, leadership is one matter. Followership is another matter. When the followers remain docile, the leader just comes, he does whatever he or she likes, and you are clapping for him. Deep down in your heart, it's not doing well. But because you don't want to be seen to be opposing, I mean, there could be positive opposition.
Right.
You oppose for the benefit of the larger majority of persons. You don't just follow because, okay, if I oppose him, the things he used to give to me, he will no more give to me. No, that's not right. So when the leader is not doing well, the followers too should not sheepishly follow. Don't just follow because he's the leader. No. You must be able to decipher. Oh, Mr. President, you this policy, yes, please, we think it can be done this way. Nobody likes to be challenged and say this is wrong. But if you say to him, Mr. President, I think we can look at it from this angle, and maybe it could yield a better result for the people to understand. But having said that, when you say a leader is corrupt, I think it's the followers that are corrupt, because you see the corruption and you condone it and you accommodate it. So it's your business. It's not. It's the leader may not understand that it's corrupt. You are the one saying it's corrupt. I'm not corrupt.
But how do we juxtapose that with a situation where we are told that politicians have a unique way of weaponizing poverty, and then the people ultimately become powerless?
Politicians, Nigeria has a population, we don't even know how many we are now, but let's say 200 million.
Tens of millions.
Let's say 200 million.
Right.
Politicians are less than 1 million.
Right.
Politicians in this country are less than 1 million. If the 99% or the 199 million people, okay, let me come this way. Politicians are less than 1% of our population, less than 1%. The 99% say no. It cannot weaponize. No, it cannot. But because we just fall in line. The man comes and you refuse to take handouts. No, you just refuse. The man brings all the things and says to you, and you know he's going to demonize you. You just say sorry. We don't want. But because it's good to be hungry for a while. It's good, and face. I have a friend who says, "Let's keep a dignified distance." You don't say because you are hungry, and for a pot of porridge you sell your birthright. No. You don't collect. You don't. Even you cannot weaponize. You can collect small money today, and mortgage your conscience for the rest of your life.
Right.
Politics most times is a 4-year, whatever, and you collect money during elections. No matter how much they give to you during election, even if it gives you 10 million per person, what's 10 million? I mean, what's 10 million for the rest of for the rest of the 4 years? The man will stay there. 10 million put together is nothing.
Meanwhile, your conscience and values have been compromised.
Sure, you've compromised a lot of things, and you are going to punish generations yet unborn. If we have an election, RRSA and Uyi contesting, we look at the two persons. RRSA, yes. Let's look at his antecedents. Uyi, yes. Let's look at his antecedents. What if we go this way? What do we stand to benefit? If we go this way, and people, look, I'm a politician.
Right.
Politicians believe that they buy consciences, and once they buy your conscience, and for the rest of their tenure, they can jettison you, they throw you away.
You've been settled.
They don't care about you anymore. So why must you allow yourself to be so cheap? The man says he pays. I've listened to governors who have said, look, I bought the position. I paid for it.
Starting from within the party.
Sure. I paid for it. I look forward to a situation whereby those days when we were very young, party members subscribed to parties. You pay dues as a party member. You know, I mean, there are monthly dues, there are annual dues. Every party member pays to the party. So we fund the parties.
Has that changed recently?
No, there is no more funding. You know, every member now believes that the party must give them money.
And that money has to come from somewhere.
From somewhere, I mean. And, you know, so it's the deep pocket person that comes, brings all the money. And if he brings all the money, he might who plays the piper. He tells the tunes. You dance for his tune. I mean, if you don't dance, he looks for a way to cut you off.
I want us to go back to the issue of Buhari. I mean, going into the election, 2014, 2015, the one that made him president, you could see the APC, which at that time had become an amalgamation of many parties, trying to do some sort of public relations thing for him. People who believed in him, who were not even necessarily politicians or members of the party, doing the same thing. 10 years after that, 2025, the man has passed, and people are still trying to make a section of Nigerians understand that this is who Buhari was, not this other person you thought he was. To what extent was he misunderstood, and why?
No, like I said, after every person's administration, whether you are living or you are dead, there must be divergent views about how you governed.
Right.
How you governed. Buhari in his time, like I said, I mean, he was straight. I met him one day at the airport, at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. It was so ordinary.
Was he the president then?
It was not the president in 2014. I mean, but you know, it was big enough at that time to do some of this.
The typical Nigerian thing.
Yes. It was so ordinary, and it was, you know, it was walking to the tarmac, like, you know, very ordinary. And that's, you know, impressed me. So when he was going to contest the election in 2015, I told a few of my friends that this is the kind of person we think we need. He didn't have the kind of money needed to prosecute the election.
Right.
But a lot of people that believed in him or believed in the party at that time brought the kind of money they needed to run or prosecute the election. The man until he left as president, I think he remained himself. His beliefs were still intact. He still kept his beliefs, and those things that people now talk about him. A friend of mine was saying yesterday that the man was corrupt. I said, I don't think it's true. They said, okay, if he wasn't, why didn't he prosecute those persons who were corrupt in his government?
Or even the government before his, right?
Yes. Why didn't he prosecute them? I mean, if he didn't condone corruption. Some persons have always believed in a marathon. In a marathon, when you are running a marathon, you try to look at it, and when you are getting towards the end of the race, you increase your speed. But again, for him, it was too late to increase his speed. He remained.
Was it because of age?
Yeah, you know. I mean, at 82, it was not too old.
At 82?
At 82, I mean, even he died at 82. I mean, so he must have been 78, 77.
Yeah, the twilight of his second tenure.
Yes, you know, so for me, it was not too old. Even though persons think that we need younger persons as... because, you know, the task of governance is a very huge task.
Right.
Because, you know, I was advisor to a governor. I could imagine the governor will not sleep until 1 a.m. 1 a.m. Some persons are coming to see the governor at 1 a.m. So at times I will ask the governor, this person is coming to see you at 1 a.m. Don't they think you should sleep?
Or where were they the whole time?
They have slept. They woke up. And you have not slept. So you need a person who has enough energy to run an administration, because definitely people don't understand that you need to sleep. They think that because you are governor or because you are president. I can imagine, you know, a small local government chairman say he's very busy. How about the governor? How about the president?
Right.
And you look at the chairman and say, oh, the job is a terrible, hard job. Fine. One local government, small local government, then state governor. Oh, how about the president? So you need a man who has enough energy to do so. Maybe Buhari didn't have that kind of energy. I mean, most of the time he was not feeling too well. Or not feeling too well. He had to go for medicals. But again, to my mind, he did his best. And it's relative to say whether his best was good enough. But he did his best. He positioned Nigeria, to my mind, on the path of progress. Part of progress.
We're just going to take a break quickly, but there are people who believe that for whatever it's worth, the man did a lot of work by trying to, if you like, ward off the external influences coming from institutions like the World Bank, the IMF, trying to, if you like, again, insulate the economy, Nigerian economy, from those influences, which many governments have been very, very exposed to, and those influences, many analysts believe, brought us to where we are today as an economic entity. Let's look at him from that perspective, plus what he also did in the area of foreign policy, for example.
Most of the things we talk about now, foreign policy, the drivers of our economy, the drivers of our policies, the ambassador at that time, you look at a governor, look at the president. The president does not need to be everything. What the president needs is to engage persons who can drive a process.
Right.
At the time, he needed to get some persons, but it was difficult for him to get the kind of persons who, like the WTO woman, for instance, very dear Okonjo-Iweala, great brain, great mind. We had persons who ordinarily, let me say this to you, you are a leader now. You don't know everything. Right. You don't know everything. So you need around you persons who you engage them to be able to give a direction. But some of those he engaged at that time didn't understand some of these things to mean that posterity will judge. And when you do anything, when you engage some persons who, to my mind, are not fit for a process, he had quite a lot of persons. I listened to a lot of his professor friends who were in his think tank, but they were not ministers. They were not ministers, but they were in his private think tank.
Right.
They were there thinking for him, and he understood what they were thinking and what they were presenting to him. But again, he also had people on ground who were running the ministries, who were running policies. Some of them did not understand the policy implications of what they were putting together. But having said all of this, all put together, the foreign policies at that time didn't take us too far. Didn't take us too far because most people, like Britain, understood him and they supported us enough. America also did. America, on few occasions, did some things that supported government. During the COVID-19 thing, for instance, we got a lot of support from these countries, and they credited him with a man who fought COVID decisively. It is not the devastation was not a thing that one would have said, "Oh, we suffered from." COVID was, contained because the man understood how it set people on various, angles to go and, determine how to fight COVID. And it fought COVID to an extent that the effect was not devastating. In some countries it was devastating, but in Nigeria it was not as bad as it was in some other countries. So that to me again was a positive direction, which was applauded by very many people. So for me, the guy, like I said, the guy has come, he has done his own, whether his policies were right or wrong, whether they yielded fruits or they didn't yield anything, he's come and gone. So I've always believed that if anybody comes on stream or stage, don't lament over what has gone wrong.
Right.
Those of us who are Rotarians, we say, when something is wrong, let us straighten it out.
So you don't cry about spilled milk?
No, you don't lament. Lamentation is very unholy. When something is wrong, don't lament, don't quarrel about what was not done well. Face the matter as it is now. You don't, when you are moving forward, that's why the eyes are in front. They could have been at the back. Just keep your gaze. Just keep moving. Don't be looking, behind you, and looking behind you will slow your speed. So just be focused. What has gone wrong? Yes, correct it. Don't belabor your head about, oh, this thing was badly done and all that, and you start to fight from all fronts. Yes, what was done wrong is fine, but if you can try to correct them, you can try to ask questions. Yes, but then it should not be your focus. That you just move on, chart a course that can now correct those things that were wrong. So at the end of the day, okay, fine. The man came in, so and conquered.
All right, we're just going to take a break quickly, everyone. When we return, we're going to just pivot a little to other aspects of this conversation as they have to do with the late former president, Muhammadu Buhari. We'll talk to you again after this break. All right, let's get talking quickly for the next few minutes, everyone. While former President Muhammadu Buhari was here, it was a rallying point for, in particular, the CPC. We know what the CPC had done in 2007, 2011, and then, of course, as part of the amalgamation too, that made the former president give him access to Aso Rock as we know it. Today is no more. For example, people have said it's going to be a case of when the shepherd dies, the sheep scatter. That's number one. Number two is also a pivotal moment. There's the talk about coalition now, and they are the quote-unquote Buhari boys from the CPC who would have also, as the case has always been, made him their rallying points in this regard, but now it's no more. Talk to our viewers about the implication of that.
Not on CPC.
Of course, we understand that the block of CPC moving into the coalition now. And if the former president had been alive...
Is there still CPC?
Well, there is no CPC as we know it, but there is still that bond of the CPC element that's still there, for example. And they say... President Muhammadu Buhari, blessed memory, was the rallying point for the CPC, and those people who were loyal to him from the CPC days are the ones essentially going into the coalition.
Those ones who were loyal to him moved on to APC. So if they are leaving APC now, so they're not leaving CPC, they're leaving APC. It's normal when you have the coalition now is talking about ADC as the platform,
right?
When you want, in any situation, you want to form a new party, it's the same people you are going to bring from everywhere.
Nothing changes.
No, they are not new creations. I mean, they are not angels from heaven. You are bringing the same people. They are taking them from here to. Some persons are not happy with the system, they want to leave. It's not as if when you create a new party, you are going to have new individuals. No, they are the same people. So for me, those who were in CPC that came to form the coalition that became APC. Yes, if they were still keeping themselves together, then they were not loyal to APC. Because by the time you form a coalition, other things are supposed to have died.
So every other thing collapses.
Yes, so you don't talk about them anymore. Okay, this is the CPC arm of APC. I mean,
so is that not the political reality in Nigeria?
So it's not a CPC, and I'm not sure. Maybe, because the APC was not, CPC, AD, whatever. Fine. So you're not saying what APC is now is the AD faction. No. So some persons are still there from CPC, but some persons are not happy with the system, and they want to say, okay, fine, we're not happy with this system. What I see with the coalition, is a coming together of strong opposition leaders,
right?
And one cannot wish them away. I hear people say, "Oh, these people they're
joking.
They are just a bunch of." I said, "No, that's not right. That's not right. You can't just wish away these persons. Atiku Abubakar, for instance, you can't just wish him away. You can't wish away Peter Obi. You can't. You can't. Nasir El-Rufai, you can't. You can't. I mean, look, Amechi. These are not persons you can just say, oh, they are a bunch of, or some of the guys want to chronicle them and say, okay, let's profile these guys. But I say to people that care to listen, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the first Nigerian president who's a politician.
What are those elements that stand him out?
He was governor. And among those who were governors with him in 1999, he remained the only active person in politics among those who were with him, who were his colleagues. There's no that person. Bola Ahmed Tinubu remained active from 1999 till he became president. So for me, he was a politician. He is a politician, true and true. And what he's going through now, I'm not in the APC, for instance.
Apparently.
But from the things he's doing now, those who are in the APC say he's doing well. Looking at the development index, one will say, okay, fine. Some things, I hear they say the economy was very bad when they came. So when the Buhari government left a very bad economy, which he inherited, and is struggling with the economy. And people are not feeling very comfortable with the way things are going now. Because a friend of mine, was going to travel and was going to buy foreign exchange. And $1 was 1,900 naira.
That must be apparently from the parallel market.
Of course, yes. Which other would you get the money from? From the banks? You won't get money from the banks. No, you won't. I mean, so for that again is totally unacceptable. Unacceptable. I mean, why would a dollar, be as valued as that? The naira has been debased. So something the economy is not right. So I think one area that the government should look at is the economy. And people, so to speak, are like, we are all suffering, and it's just true. It's just true. The level of suffering now is, to my mind, high. And that explains why some people think, okay, let's have a coalition to retrieve power. But in retrieving power, you just must tell yourself that you are ready to retrieve power. It's not just coming together, because there are a lot of interests.
Right.
I mean, look at the giants who are on the coalition network. These are all giants in their own rights, and they have interests. And those interests, again, so each of them must be willing to subordinate to the other. Once you don't want to subordinate your interest to another person's interest, then of course there will be no. So the coalition will have a serious challenge, because unless they agree to subordinate, individual interest to the group interest, because there must be a group interest,
right?
And that's what the APC is saying, that this people cannot stand, because there are persons who have individual interests. They all have individual interests. Everybody wants to be president. So if it gets to the point of now saying, let us, who now becomes our flag bearer,
right?
Then they will scatter. Then they will scatter. So the APC is waiting for that to happen. But again, the coalition must be serious enough. I like opposition. I don't like it when there's no opposition. I like opposition that has direction.
Right.
Not just opposing for the purpose of not just to oppose because you want to oppose.
It should be constructive.
Constructive. You must oppose because you think you have an idea. You go, look, I don't like this policy. It's not right. It could be done like this. Then you are guiding the person who you are opposing. You don't just oppose because you want to oppose. I don't like His Excellency. I want to oppose him stupidly. So you must oppose constructively. And I'm sure the president will listen to such oppositions. When you oppose him with some, okay, fine. If you oppose me, prefer solution.
Right. Let's wrap this up in 1 minute. Now, the former president, late Muhammadu Buhari, is gone, but they say his legacy will live on. What are some things you would, on this show this morning, say political leaders, especially at the federal level, being the president, for instance, can learn from him and bring to bear in their style of governance?
Our greatest challenge has been corruption. Greatest. Corruption at various levels, all strata of the economy, corruption. One legacy that President Buhari has left is his anti-corruption stance. The thing we need to fight in this country is corruption. If that is fought effectively, everything will be fine. Corruption at various levels. For me, everything that we do in this country, if we can kill corruption, things will go on smoothly. When you hear, somebody is stealing as much as money for 5 generations, or his children's children. Once we kill corruption, so he himself, one legacy I think he has left, which I think must resonate, is his anti-corruption stance, which every party, every political party or politician should look at, because there's so much for us in this country, but because of the greed of a few of us, these things are not there. If we kill our greed, if you kill, Christians say kill your flesh. If we kill the greed, there's enough for everybody. But because of our greedy nature, then we say it's not. Everything that has to be done to take Nigeria to an El Dorado is to fight and kill corruption.
And former President Muhammadu Buhari, blessed memory, has taught us how important that should be for every government.
Yes.
I think at this point, we're going to leave this conversation here. But again, like we mentioned at the top of the show today, it's an ongoing discussion. We're going to have this run for the next couple of days as part of the morning period. You understand, 2 days ago, President Bola Tinubu had ordered that flags will now have to fly at half-mast. And the Federal Executive Council meeting that had earlier been scheduled for yesterday got moved to Friday. Of course, the president led dignitaries from across the world to Dara yesterday to pay their last respects to former late President Muhammadu Buhari. I'd like to thank especially my guest this morning, who has been shedding light on some of these issues. The last 45 minutes, talking about Honorable Rotary Nagarese Idubo, politician and public affairs commentator. We do not take for granted your valuable insights.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.